Good morning, everyone. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, Canning Recipes, a little bit of everything. We have some pretty high winds today, but it's supposed to get up to about 85 degrees. It is November the 16th. Sorry guys, I've been out of pocket a little bit. I'm just trying to take some time to get myself together. Sometimes I have good days, sometimes I have bad days. And the last, 4 or 5 days, I just really hadn't felt motivated to do a whole heck of a lot of anything. So be sure and keep me in your prayers, please, as I know many of you are, and I thank you for them. So I wanted to do a garden update this morning. I'm also going to harvest some things like some cauliflower and probably some daikon radishes and some bok choy. Some things are coming to fruition, and then I'm going to need to go ahead and replant. So let's walk around and I'll show you what's going on. I'm getting some beautiful heads of cabbage, guys, and I'm going to take these and I'm going to freeze dry them along with some greens that I have that are ready to be picked up. So here are just some various lettuces that I put in this tub. You can see my celery there is doing really well. Here are my carrots. I've got 4 tubs of carrots. Here is the bok choy. Now I will tell you that the other day I came out, and as you can see, looky there, aphids have arrived again. So I'm going to pull these and I'm going to throw them out, but Greg did go ahead and spray with the azotin a couple of days ago. So I'm going to pull these, I'm going to clean them up real good. I'm going to cook some, and I think I'm probably going to freeze dry some because I want to make me a green powder mixture that will be super infused with the green minerals and vitamins. So here's some more bok choy. It's just looking fantastic in these tubs. This is my Napa cabbage, and you can see it's starting to looky there. So, yeah, look there, guys. Look at all of them. So Greg's going to have to come out here and spray these again. It's unbelievable. They are really loving this environment. This is some of the arugula. Love this arugula. It is tasting so fantastic. I did go ahead and replant radishes from the ones I pulled and fermented. And look at this celery. Is that not gorgeous? Beautiful, beautiful celery. So my tomatoes on this north wall are starting to take some hits, but they're still prospering and they're still producing. See that right there? So we set them, and 3 nights in a row they were all fully loaded. And for the last 4 nights now, we've not gotten anything in here. Not that we've gotten rid of them, guys, because I'm still seeing them out in the yard, but I'm not catching anything in this high tunnel. So we moved the tower of power in here, and look, my calendula is coming back. Got some really good things still in here. I do need to go in here and plant some greens. I did freeze dry some mullein and make some tea out of it. This is some of my holy basil that's trying to come back, and I'm hoping that it really does, because that makes a wonderful tea when you freeze dry it or dehydrate it, guys. So my daikon radishes are looking pretty good. Not all of them are ready to be pulled, but there are a couple in here, and I'm going to see if I can find it for you, that are ready to be pulled. Where was that one? There she is. Look at that beautiful daikon radish. And then our strawberries, which we're going to try to overwinter in here and keep going. Here are my onions, and I'm waiting on that other high tunnel, which I'll update you on here in just a sec to get done, but they're looking pretty good. I can't wait to get those in the ground. And let's look at this whole wall here, guys. Was eaten by Rat King Cole, and so I've been waiting to see if we caught anything more before I replanted, because I didn't want to just keep giving them food to eat. So I'm gonna have to pull these broccolis up and replant. I've got some onions in there, and then I got some chard down there and some kale. But here are my tomatoes. So we are getting some really good tomatoes off of here, and they are starting to ripen, and we are expected to be mild for the next week. So I do expect that to continue. Look at some of these gorgeous tomatoes in here. It's going down the line. These are those blueberry tomatoes. I'm not sure that I'll grow these again because they're blue whenever they first come out, and then they turn red, but they're little bitty tomatoes, and I'm not sure that I want to regrow those. I think the varieties I grew back in the spring are what I'm going to stick with. But look at these. So yeah, you can see they are starting to ripen, sun-ripened tomatoes in the middle of November. Imagine that, guys. We may be having fresh tomatoes for Thanksgiving because right now we're not seeing any freeze that's coming our way. It's going to be mild weather so far. So here's a little bit of a rundown of inside the high tunnel, the first high tunnel. It's quite green, quite lush, and guys, I'm very happy about this, and I'm very pleased with it. I did plant some garlic in some pots, and it's starting to come up really well. I have a couple of these in here. So we have this raised bed going. You can see I got a really nice size cauliflower head back there. You know now why I need to get these pulled and get them in that freeze dryer. So my broccoli's doing pretty good, but the ones up front are doing a lot better than these one back here. But look at that kale, guys. My kale's really starting to kick in. So here's some of my broccoli. Quite a few of these plants in this raised bed have heads on them. So I'm excited about that. And I did have one subscriber tell me that she was eating the broccoli leaves and putting them like in her broccoli and rice casserole, and she said they were absolutely delicious. So we may do some of that too. And you can see I got a little head coming up there. Got a head of cabbage in there. So I have a couple of bells, and they're looking wind beaten, but they're still producing. So we're going to leave them alone. We have gotten some frost, but these seem to have weathered that, even though they look very weathered. They seem to have weathered that frost. But you can see I have some kale here and some kale here, and when these broccoli plants come up, I've got some cabbage in here, which is not, guys, coming to fruition, and I understand that because it's covered by leaves. But my greens are looking really well. So here's my spinach, and I'm going to say that I'm not happy with the way the weed cloth has restricted it. I was hoping that it would help because this bed was full of weeds and we were just fighting them. So I did go in and plant my spinach after we put some holes in this weed cloth to try to prohibit the weeds coming up and the grass coming up. And yes, I have some pretty good spinach in there, but it's not the big, thick, lush plants that I normally get. So I did go ahead and plant some more in the high tunnel in a bucket, hoping that I would get more spinach because I love my spinach. And I did put some little heads of lettuce in here. So last week, you know that we pulled this and we couldn't do it the rest of the week because we had very high winds. And so yesterday we were able to pull that wall as well. But again, you can see that the winds are high, so we're not going to be able to try to pull the plastic for the top of this until Friday. And we're trying to get some people together to come help us do it early Friday morning before any chance of wind may set in. We got to get this done, guys. We got to get it done so we can get some things in the ground. So what am I going to be putting in the ground in that other high tunnel, hopefully sometime next week, maybe, is we're going to do some beets, we're going to do some purple top turnips, we're going to sow some more lettuces, probably some more spinach. I'm going to put those onions in there. I've got some cabbage starts, I got some broccoli starts, and I think I'm probably going to go ahead and start some more bok choy for that as well. There's probably some other things I'm going to end up putting in there. I really need to go through all my seeds and see everything that I got for this time of year and this season of planting, and so I'll be doing that in the next couple of days to refine what I think it is I want to put in that other high tunnel, because we want to get it going as soon as possible. Now we will be starting our tomato seeds probably sometime in December, so that we can get them in the ground hopefully in February and get an early harvest. And we're going to be growing a new variety this year, so be sure and stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you see how this new variety does. It is really geared more toward high tunnel gardening, but they also do very well outside. I've seen videos on people growing them both ways. So you all know that we got hit with that winter storm in February of this year. We do expect another one to roll through maybe in January. And I'll tell you that this year's weather is almost the exact pattern that we had this time of year. In fact, I had told Greg the other day on the 14th, I said, this is like a spring day in the middle of fall. And on my Facebook, it popped up in a memory on the exact same day. I said the exact same thing with pictures. So the weather pattern is really showing itself to be the same as it was last year, which is a La Nina pattern. And they do expect that to continue, and that is what may drive a winter storm our way sometime in January. So we're getting prepared as best as possible. We did get another cord of wood yesterday, so we have 2 cords of wood. We have about 13 propane tanks. Something's in my nose. We have about 13 propane tanks filled, ready for Mr. Heater. I don't want to use them, guys, in the high tunnels unless I absolutely have to. We're not going to be doing what we did last year, trying to preserve those tomatoes throughout the winter. We will let them go as long as we can, and if it looks like we're going to get a freeze and I still have some green ones, I'll go ahead and cut those off, and I'll either freeze dry them or I'll make a chow chow. But we are going to let them go as long as we can before that freeze hits. But we just don't want to waste our fuel on trying to keep those tomato plants alive. It was just, poor Greg was out here every night pulling down you can see that extra high tunnel in a high tunnel and lighting the propane, and sometimes the propane would run out and we'd be out here in the middle of the night. And I don't think that that's the route we want to go. We do believe that the cool weather plants that we have planted and that we're going to plant will survive any kind of cold that we get. I'll tell you that during February last year, a lot of the things, and you may remember my beet tops froze, and so many of you were very helpful and told me to go out there and cut those beet greens off, and they would come back, and they did. They sure as heck did. Not only that, but the kale came back, the cabbage came back, the chard came back. Everything really survived that extreme cold that we had last year. And so we were very blessed, and we're kind of counting on that this year. A lot of the greens, instead of being out in the raised beds, and they survived too, will be in that other high tunnel. So they will have some shelter from any kind of winter storm or winter weather that we may get. So thank you guys for being patient with me, and I do ask that you continue to pray for me and my family, and we will be in touch. I will be doing another video on freeze drying my greens and whatever else I can get out of here. So stay tuned for that. Be sure and hit subscribe for that. Hit that little like button. We love each and every one of you. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for praying for us. Thank you for walking this journey with us as we keep on plugging. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's very hard to keep on plugging. I'll tell you that. But we're keeping on plugging, and we're keeping on trucking, and we are praising the Lord for everything He has given us, and you should too. And just look out for what's going on in this stinking world, and be aware, be alert, and we will be in touch. So stay tuned for those other videos coming up. Hit that subscribe. We'll see you soon.